Hi, happy Friday, everyone. I'm your host, Stacey DeSantis, and I'd like to welcome you to episode 218 of Live at the Hive. And today we have
Yagna.
And Courtney Castle.
Okay, so we're going to be talking about the 5 steps to creating an e-commerce omni-channel strategy. And you might see me looking over to my right because that is one heck of a title. Courtney, what does it mean?
It's a mouthful. So what does that actually mean? So there are a lot of channels in 2022, from all of the social media channels you might have to email to your website. How do you put them all together so that people are going from browsing on Instagram to becoming a loyal customer of your online store? So that's kind of the omni-channel strategy. That's what that means in a nutshell. Putting all those channels at the right part of your funnel so that people are going through it logically and end up, being a valuable, loyal customer of your brand and coming to your store, actually making the purchase. So yeah, I think that's what we've dumbed it down to in these 5 steps. It's a very large world, e-commerce, but we figure these are the 5 essential steps you need to take beyond just setting up a store. To actually have people coming and be successful with all the channels you have out there to access.
Yeah, because it can really seem overwhelming at first. Like, where do I focus my attention? How do I make sure that no matter how my customers are reaching me or finding out about me, that I'm there to serve them and offer them the exact same experience? So we're going to really dive into that today. But before we get started, just wanted to say hi to everybody that's joining us right now. So, hey, April. Hey, Sachita. Hey, Pippa. Hey, Yvonne. Yeah, I think we've got a really great show coming up. So let's get into it, shall we?
Yeah, let's dive in.
Yep.
All right. So, Courtney, I'm going to throw this one over to you. You want to just dig into a little bit more of the weeds when it comes to the omni-channel strategy? Or
yeah, basically we're going to go through just like the essentials that you need for this to put in place. But also when we talk about omni-channel strategy, it's a lot about giving the audience the right message at the right time. Because someone on social media who's just, happens to see a reel, for example, is going to be at a very different point in your sales cycle than someone who's, revisited a product page on your site for the 3rd time, because they're considering a purchase. So very different thoughts. We'll get into that kind of see, think, do, care methodology that we like to talk about a lot on the show. But we just, we want to take it one step at a time so everyone can follow along and you can implement this for your own online store.
Exactly. Just wanted to give a shout out to Paige and Brandon for joining us.
Hey
guys. All right. So step number 1. Now, this is something that my team, the content team at Honeypot, it's first and foremost whenever we're building out any kind of strategy is understanding the customer journey. This should be first and foremost your very first step, because the way you're going to market to, let's say, an 80-year-old grandmother is a lot different than how you're going to market to a 30-year-old millennial. So understanding, what channels are they on? What patterns, how do they use social? Are they more responsive to email marketing? Is your user experience on your site really seamless? Like, understanding what those touch points are and how they're going to be interacting with your brand is first and foremost. So you need to take the personas that you've built for your brand and then actually take them through a perspective journey. So like you were just saying, Courtney, very top of funnel, the C part, brand awareness part might be an Instagram reel or a Facebook video or something of that nature. And then understanding how you can take them from letting them know who your brand is, what kind of content or solution or very good nugget that you could give them in the think part of your funnel. And then also being able to gradually pull them through to the do, and that's when you make the ask of the sale, right? So, but you can't I would recommend, or we would recommend, creating a customer journey that actually marks down those different parts of the funnel and understanding where your customers are most likely to enter, and take it from
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, and you would actually map that out using a tool. Like you would
Yeah,
actually draw that out, right, Stacy? Yeah, it's just so
yeah.
people can see. We would use like Lucid Chart or even just pen and paper, and actually get down to it. You know your business, and you typically know, depending on what product you sell, how people typically find you. Like obviously, like a retail, like a decor product might be found differently than like financial services. So
Exactly.
that's, you really got to dig into that. Like, if you're selling decor products that are lovely, Pinterest advertising and having a presence there should be an element of that for you, so it's really, sorry.
No,
But
it's okay.
that's depending on what you sell. That's definitely a huge part of the journey. How do people end up making a purchase from you?
And if you're like us and you're a content creator, we're usually very visual individuals. So being able to visually see an overarching view of that customer journey and really understanding those touch points, you might recognize a weakness in your existing funnel that you can go back in and actually optimize. So it's a great way to visually see what's happening with your customers as they make that journey through your funnel. And another tip, which is a quick one, is to use like different colored sticky notes and literally put it on a wall and just kind of like map it out that way, because you can easily move pieces. You can kind of, I say here at the Hive, throw spaghetti at the wall to see what sticks and take it from there, and then make a more concrete piece that you can share with the rest of the team so everybody's on the same page.
Definitely. Yeah. And would you say, like Yagna and Stacy, would you say this is the point where you would also pick and choose your channels as well? Because you can't really
100%.
be everywhere at once. So yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Because like, I wish we all had unlimited budgets, but we don't, right? So
Yeah.
you have to work smarter, not harder, and really understand where you should be investing those dollars. All
For
right.
sure.
Step number 2, I'm going to pass it over to our friend Yagna to walk us through this piece.
Sure. So, okay, first, we have to understand that creating an omni-channel experience is a slow process. So, even though it means that you are like almost everywhere, but you don't have to be there at all at once, you'll get there in time. So, it is important that you first focus on setting up your e-commerce store, and like you start with your website and then you nail those before getting or moving on to another platforms. So, there are a few things to remember when or you are like starting up your website for first time, or you already have an e-commerce store, but there are some things that you need to remember. For example, you are on the right platform. For example, are you if you are product based, or you should be on Amazon or Shopify for that matter. Also make sure that you have proper tools and place to optimize your website. For example, you have all your automations in your place, and basically you are able to provide that personalized experience which you promise to your customers. And secondly, also make sure that you have a shoppable experience. Your customer is able to access your website to laptop or to mobile phone as well. And there are new features every now and then coming on different websites, like you are able to offer customer support, live chat, 24/7 support. Those are really features which comes in handy. And lastly would be to look for different trends and compare volume of products for different promotional opportunities as well. Like every day something or new thing is coming up when it comes to trends. So these are some of the things which you need to keep in mind to provide a seamless and personalized experience to your customers.
Exactly. I think Pippa sums it up really well. The old adage, Rome wasn't built
Wasn't
in a day.
Yes, yeah, this is definitely like we have it as step 2, but obviously setting up your e-commerce store is a huge task, a huge undertaking, but well worth it. Like Yagna just referenced, making sure you have the proper tools in place from the get-go so that you can make those optimizations. Like if you don't have things like your Google Analytics properly integrated to show conversions and where they're coming from, or if you don't have things like a heat map, which shows where people are actually clicking on your website and why they might not be purchasing. You can't make changes to improve your website in the future without this information. So just take the time, like take a deep breath. You can build the store. You can always optimize it. Finished is better than perfect, as we say at the Hive. But it's a big undertaking, but well worth it to commit and make sure that customer journey is as smooth as possible.
Exactly. As April says here, there are a lot of details and steps. So while we've marked this as step number 2, we could list countless sub steps under number 2, but we're just taking everyone through very high level pieces that you need to think about. And that's why step number 1 was so important, the customer journey, because you can't build a program if you don't understand who your customers are first. So the way you may set up a store may be completely different if you don't understand if you're serving a B2C or B2B, or like how is that going to all lay out, and how those integrations that Yagna and Courtney just mentioned that you would put in your store are going to vary dependent on who the customer is. So good
Definitely,
stuff.
Stacy. Yeah, I think if I had one tip for this step, it would just be consider which product best suits, or which platform best suits your product. Because there could be, you could be an individual, business owner who's creating like handcrafted jewelry on Etsy, and so that would be better for you. Or you could be a very large retail chain who has thousands of SKUs, and you need to be looking at a more larger platform like Magento. Like there's lots of different e-commerce platforms. A lot of people, Shopify comes to mind when a lot of people think of that example. But just think about what you need. Do you need multiple currencies? Do you need, is there a logistics element of it that's going to be particularly difficult for you? That's what we mean by perhaps we'll do a follow-up episode a little later about e-commerce stores specifically, but just do your research before committing to a platform.
Exactly. All right, let's get into step number 3. Courtney, gonna pass this one over to you.
Sure. Yeah. Customer relationship management. So once your store is set up and you have those tools that are kind of for on-site optimization, like Google Analytics, heat maps, other things, you then need to look at to make sure that when someone does make a purchase or they come to your store, that there is a journey for them. And that's not just a dead end. Like, thanks for making a purchase. Bye. That's kind of a very common mistake I think a lot of people make. There should be an automation sequence that pulls them deeper. Perhaps you thank them for making their purchase and then ask them, you have new products being released this spring. Check which ones you'd be interested in, and use it as an opportunity to collect a little more information about them, to personalize your messaging to them. And that's very heavily done with email automation, but even on the other side, it could be done with, I know Yagna mentioned chatbots and things like that on your site, on social media. Just kind of look at the gaps and where something could be a dead end in your funnel, and make sure you're using the tools that already exist to bring them deeper and further.
Yeah, and would you not agree that a CRM is a great tool to really organize your first party data that you're pulling in as well, especially now that it's becoming more and more prevalent and a must have versus a nice to have. You don't want to be like, oh, I've got to gather from my one program here and I've got to gather, they're all coming into the same place, so you can organize them, you can nurture them like you mentioned, and make sure that you're that's the care part, and what we're going to get into with the C thing, do care. It's making sure that you're following up, you're getting those customer reviews. If they have questions or concerns about your product, you're there, you're responsive, you can help them. You don't want, no one has the time to go to 10 different places to make sure that you're interacting with your customers. We want to bring it all into one spot, hence the word omni.
Yeah, definitely. And at the end of the day, just like what you said, it's about personalizing that message. Do you want 1,000, contacts where you just have their email and first name? It's going to be a very generic message that you're sending to them. The chance of them becoming a repeat customer is probably is lessened for sure. And it's always more expensive to bring in a new customer than a repeat. So really, it's about learning more information about your customers and not relying on the large giants that are clamping down on that information. So if you know more about them, then you can personalize things and you can kind of take control of the funnel yourself with that first party data, as it's called.
Exactly. April makes a really good point here. Maintaining a relationship with your audience is very important for building lifelong customers. Using email is a great way to keep in touch, but try not to overspam their inboxes. Very good
Yes.
point, April. Too often than not, you know, we've run into situations where our customers may feel that it's appropriate to email their customers a couple times a day. And that's just going to come off as
Yeah.
spam, and they're quickly going to hit the unsubscribe if you do that. So you have to be very thoughtful in that process, and what kind of connection points make the most sense versus just, is there a way that you can amalgamate the information or make sure that it's fruitful? It's not just a you need to know, like, or FYI kind of thing. Like, you have to be very thoughtful, not only in how many times you're reaching out to them, but the message that you're conveying in each of those pieces as well.
Yeah, that's a great point, Stacey. It's not just
Yep.
about like what you're saying on which channel, but how often you're saying it too, the
Yeah.
content cadence, as we call it. So yeah, because some people, you could be sending text messages, emails, social posts you're boosting. Like there's a lot of conversation going around, and you want to make sure that message is evolving, and it's not just the same message shouted at your audience at every single level.
Exactly. All right. Let's carry on our merry way. We're kind of whipping through these a bit, but I'm going to ask my friend Yagna to talk about social integration.
Yes. So when it comes to omnichannel, like giving out omnichannel experience, it is not enough to have a website, or even if you have a great website, you cannot miss the opportunity of being present on social media. It's not just about presence, you have to be active on social media, because the thing is, people will try to reach out on you on different platforms. For example, if I have seen if I've seen somewhere about handcrafted jewelry, like Courtney said, I would basically stalk the profile of on their Instagram and even Facebook for that matter, and see of where are they located, what do they do, what kind of products they give out. So businesses should not miss out this opportunity where they have basically a golden chance to interact with their customers when they are. And another thing is, like, social media makes it very easy to deliver amazing customer experience, and thanks to some pretty significant updates on Facebook and Instagram, we are able to now drive sales through that with Instagram shopping and Facebook shopping as well. So this is what offers a seamless interaction with your clients and customers, for that matter.
For sure. That's 100% Yagna. I think that makes sense so much. And it's like, we don't necessarily even just mean social media as, oh, hey, Dan. Or just saying, hey,
it's
to
okay
Dan
that you're late.
No problem. Yeah, but social, we don't mean just having an Instagram account or just posting on it. Like there are actual shopping e-commerce integrations on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. All these platforms have been doubling down on this element for the last few years now, and will only continue to do that. So when we say integrate, we mean like actually set up your Instagram shop, have shoppable posts and links through so that you can start driving actual sales instead of just traffic from Instagram and other social channels.
Exactly. I mean, a couple things go into this. You don't need to be on every social channel, first of all. I think a lot of small businesses may make that, I don't want to say mistake, but because you don't know what you don't know, but they might just assume that that's what you need to do. I'm on social. That means I've got my Twitter, I've got my Facebook, I go through them all, but you don't need to. What you need to do is you need to go back at the step one at your customer journey, understand where your customers are, and then fish where the fish are. So if I know that a lot of my customers are on Instagram, boom, let's do it. I'm, invest into that and really go hard with your Instagram social strategy. Like Courtney was just mentioning, it's evolved so much, even over the last year, where it's not just about having your store set up on the app itself or a seamless integration, so that way you can easily make the purchase on the app itself. But it's also things like live shopping, doing live streams, exactly what we're doing right now. And it's almost like the modern day infomercial where you can really get into, the solution that product provides and get into the perks of it, and then maybe offer a promo code to anyone who tuned into the live stream. Like, there's tons of different ways you can slice and dice it dependent on the social channel, but don't try to spread yourself too thin. That would be my number one advice.
Yes, do not spread yourself too thin, or it will not end up working, because social media is a haul. There is a lot of a lot of work that goes into that, between the genuine community management and the creating valuable pieces of content that aren't all fluffy. Like, it is a time commitment for sure to build it. So you have to really decide where's the best place to put your time. But Dan Durant says my Twitch account has 1 follower. So, sometimes if you just want to test out a channel, that's fine too. Always be testing. But keep in mind, a lot of people are 1-person marketing teams, or a few people, or you're managing many, many channels. So like, just posting and ghosting a channel isn't going to be beneficial for you. Might as well go harder on one channel that actually could produce real results.
Exactly. April makes a really great point here too. There are different demographics and customer behaviors depending on the social channel. Mm-hmm. So start with your main channels first, then move on to the other platforms. I would even argue that, let's say you have a gaming platform, or, you were offering a gaming service. Twitch would probably be an ideal place to do that, to really invest your time. Whereas if you have like a fashion brand, you're probably really going to want to invest in like a TikTok or an Instagram versus a Facebook or a Twitter. Like, it's just really taking the time to understand how people, like, where they are. I'm not going to, if I have something for my grandmother, I'm not going to go hard on TikTok. She's not there. She's probably on Facebook, right? Maybe Pinterest.
She's probably in a Facebook private group about knitting patterns, but maybe she's not on TikTok yet. Yeah, not quite at that absorption level yet, that saturation.
I love you, Granny, but I know that you're not on the TikToks. You're not doing the dancing. Although, did you guys, sidebar, did you happen to see that really cute TikTok about Dua Lipa and the grandfather? There's this 80-year-old grandfather, and he got tickets to see Dua Lipa at a concert. So Jimmy Fallon, he brought him on anyway, and they did like a live introduction between him and Dua Lipa. It was pretty cool. I was surprised he's on there, but you go, Grandpa.
Go. I'm sure there's some, go first adopters that are on there that are, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's fine. But yes, definitely, that's a very helpful decision. Like, I like to use the gaming example. Like, if you're, in the gaming space, then Twitter and Twitch are going to be something you're looking at. Whereas if you're a wedding venue, you know what I mean? What are you doing on Twitch? Like, that'd be an interesting strategy. So definitely just choose what's right for you, and you can focus on those main pillar channels first, like April just mentioned in her comment. And then you can always, once those are going well, there's room for testing and layering on other things later.
Exactly. And like Dan, you make a really good point here. Dan Durant wrote, I was trying to create an account on True Social, released 2 days ago. It crashed. Sometimes these new social channels, it's kind of like buying a new car, or like buying a car that just came out. You never buy a car the first year. Maybe this is just something that's said in my house because my husband works at Toyota, but you want to give it time to see where it's going to go. There's been so many other apps, I can't even think of them. Byte, I think, was one that was trying to run off of the momentum that TikTok had. I don't think it did anything, right? So, it's great to be there and be present, but like you said, you don't want to post and ghost. And sometimes these guys are just a fad, right? So you got to kind of wait and see type of thing.
Well, I find the problem with trying to race to be on every channel at once is you end up sacrificing the strategy.
Exactly.
Because, time is the bane of every marketer, right? Like, that's our constant competitors. How much time do you have? Like, that idea looks amazing, but do you have the time to actually see it through and make it successful? So,
yeah. All right. Let's get to point number 5. All right. This is something our friend Yagna does. almost every day.
All day
Yes.
long.
Take it away, Yagna.
Okay, so when it comes to omnichannel experience, again, paid advertising and basically retargeting your audience is one of the most crucial thing that you can do to successfully create that seamless and personalized experience. And here we follow the framework of see, think, do, and care, which basically means that first step is see, where you are creating brand awareness for your audience. And this can be done in two ways. For example, you can either use Google Ads or implement Facebook ads, which definitely goes in different directions, because in Google Ads, basically you are searching something. For example, again, handcrafted jewelry. I'm searching for handcrafted jewelry, and I saw the first ad of, like let's say honeypot marketing, let's say honeypot jewelries, for example. So that is what Google Ads do, but it is also a touch point for brand awareness. And other is for Facebook ads, where somebody is placing their ads into my feed and I'm seeing that and I'm like getting interested into that. So that is for the C framework. And then it comes to the think and do, where I'm basically thinking about those products, and somewhere in the middle, and I'm getting again interact, like I'm getting again touched by the e-commerce store or the business on Instagram or Snapchat or Pinterest for that matter. So I'm really thinking about those products, and then doing is like basically I'm willing to purchase or I'm almost convinced to purchase those products. So a lot of factors go into this paid advertising. And finally the step is of care or remarketing, where basically generating loyalty for your brand. And if I bought a one product from your business, you might want me to interest in something else as well, which might suit me or which might interest me. So that is basically what remarketing does. It allows you to bring generate loyalty for your customers in that place.
Well done, my
There you
friend.
Thank
go.
you.
Yeah. I'm going to make a Christmas list for Yagna. Handcrafted jewelry next year.
I like jewelries.
Yeah, no, it's cool. Yeah, so basically, this is your funnel, if you will. So you want to
Mhm.
make sure that the C part is your brand awareness. Your think part is um, offer something of value, something that is going to entice your users or your potential customers to want to learn more about your brand. And the do is when you ask for that first date, right? That's when you ask for the buy, that's when you ask for the sale. And then care is basically the customer service portion. You want to make sure you're nurturing those leads that you've already developed. Maybe if you're a return customer, you give them a promo code. Like, you want to make sure that you're always nurturing them. I think what it's important to understand that a lot of people miss the think part
Mhm.
of the equation. They go right from the C. Okay, you see me. You
By
see,
me.
now buy. And it's like, now how would you
For
say,
sure.
Courtney and Yagna, this would pertain to the types of ads that you would serve? Do you think that someone should go directly into like a Google Ads framework, or should they do a little bit of both that and Facebook, or they just focus on the social boosting and advertising? Or what are your thoughts on that?
If I can just give like a specific example, because people selecting formats for their ads is often something that's a bit of a pet peeve of mine, because people are often like still in the frame of mind of like, create this graphic and run it
Yeah.
on all the channels, but like, as an example, if there's an online store that sells dresses, formal wear, and I don't know this brand, I've never seen them, but I see I'm flipping through my stories, and I see an Instagram story properly sized to be a story, and it's a woman walking down a lovely looking street in a lovely dress, and there's like a shop that buy this look, link right there. I could click on that. Like, it's very enticing. It's appealing from an aesthetic level. That's very, like, you can have it be buy, or you can have it like an inspiration or something like that, but that type of ad is going to look very different from if I've already gone through, I've purchased this dress, I'm an existing customer of theirs, and like next week I'm on Instagram, and then I see a carousel ad where it's multiple images I can click through, and perhaps it's other items I viewed on their site but didn't purchase. I just purchased the one dress. Like, you have enough information about me to be able to do that and close that kind of a sale. And I'm like, oh yeah, I left that in my cart. I do really want that. I'm going to buy it. Like, that's what we mean when we talk about these remarketing ads and looking at where this person is in that omni-channel funnel.
Exactly. Like, you can create your ad structures too to be like, this ad is purely for brand awareness. I just want to get my name out there. I want people to know who I am. Then the second, ad can be the think part. Okay, I'm not asking for the buy, but I'm getting you to think. And then so I'm showing you different variations of the dress, just using your example, that might be available. Right. And maybe the fabric is light because it's great for summer, and that's appealing. It looks awesome. It's light for summer. I'm going to be outside all day because, it's a wedding, great. And then the do is that when you take the people that actually have interacted with your see and your think, and you market to them to ask for the sale, because you're not now asking a sale from a cold audience. You're asking it from someone who is aware of who you are and knows the value you bring to the table.
For sure. Yeah, I agree. And it allows you to introduce a different tactic. Like, perhaps I looked at that dress and I was like, $80. I'm cheap. I don't want to spend that. But then I've looked back at that like 3 times, and you could run an ad for like anyone who's looked at this product page 2+ times. And perhaps this time you're offering them like a, 5% on their next purchase and free shipping when they purchase the dress, a little enticement. Or perhaps you're offering them a discount on a bit of a bundle some shoes with it, or a purse, or whatever it may be. It gives you a lot more flexibility with what the offer is. And I don't know if you guys would agree with this, but I find a lot of people put a lot of time and money into the acquisition part. Like you said, the C part and the do, especially, it's all about the buy. But the care, you said think doesn't get talked about, like focused on. Neither does the care a lot of time, honestly. No. And that's the retention. People get caught up with getting new people in the door, but don't forget about the people who already bought from you, or the people who are your highly engaged audience. Things like flash sales and other things like that.
Yeah. Or, a loyalty discount or something of that nature. I feel like
a loyalty program. Yeah.
I feel like the only time they actually get into the care part is when they want a review. And it's a little bit self-serving, right? Like, I get it. It helps and it grows your business, and we all love a great review. But, it's kind of like asking me to buy something. You haven't talked to me in like weeks. And then all of a sudden you're like, give me a review. Well, what's the incentive?
Yeah. And I feel, it's an interesting thing, because it's like you fought so hard to get this person into your system, like continue to speak to them, like, not just from a review perspective, but, like from a marketing perspective, this contact is very valuable. That's going to be your custom audience when you're targeting on Facebook and things like that too. So like, I don't know. I just feel like people should really treat their first party data and contacts like gold.
Oh, 100%, 100%, especially with all the restrictions we've been talking over the past couple of lives, and the privacy pieces that are coming down the pipe, and Android just launched it. I mean, first party data is where it's at. So they are essentially your nuggets of gold. All right. Pippa has something
That's
here.
A funny comment.
Like those people. Then all of a sudden it's like, they're trying to sell you. What's that thing that they had? LuLaRoe. I think they had that on Discovery Network. Yeah, I had a couple of people like that. I haven't seen you in ages. Now you want me to buy leggings? What? No.
Yeah, and it's the same for your content strategy too. If you're just talking about me all the time, and then all of a sudden you have a product to sell and you wonder why there's no engagement on that post, it's like, well, why would they be here otherwise?
It's like, I'm super fabulous. Why aren't you buying anything from me? It's like, well, what am I getting in return? Offer them value all the time. So, sure. All right. Look at us. We're right on time. And why don't you wrap it up for us today?
Okay, sure.
I'm just putting you on the spot because Courtney and we tend to be over like, right? We want to make sure you have time.
No worries. So when because we are in such an era that where everything is like everywhere and people are almost everywhere, omnichannel experience and creating an omnichannel strategy will not only strengthen your marketing funnel, but it would also help you to grow your business, because basically you are bringing on a chance to again meet your customers, interact with your customers, and basically not only create brand awareness as well, but also generate sales. So it is really important that some point or later you will have to create an omnichannel experience, that is for sure.
Absolutely.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you may already have all these channels, and it may just be a
Yeah.
matter of connecting them and just strengthening the way that they fit into the stages of your funnel. So that's most people have social accounts, have a store, things like that. So just think about where, where they fit into the pieces of the puzzle.
Yeah, you can always be optimizing, always looking for ways to streamline and really make sure that you're um, investing your energy on social channels and email marketing and your website in a way that is going to be impactful versus trying to, you know, what's that saying about trying to boil the ocean? Yeah, you don't want to do that. You can't.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's pretty big, man. Like, good luck. But
And it can be hard because the messaging,
Mhm.
from us marketers is sometimes like, you have to be on TikTok. You have to be on this. Oh, you're
yeah,
not trying this new tool? So like I get it. It is that pressure kind of to be everywhere. But I think
yeah,
that's why
yeah.
you need to be confident in your strategy. You know what you're doing, your strategy and what works for you. There might be a new shiny new channel that pops up. Maybe you test it out, but be confident in your strategy and your information about your customers.
Ah, boil the ocean.
Boil the ocean. There you go.
Yeah, yes,
Please
boil.
don't.
Don't save the fishes and the turtles. No straws.
Yes.
Sorry, that's the hippie in me. Dan would be laughing right now if he was here. Okay, well, we really appreciate everybody showing up this week and learning these 5 steps. We hope that they help you optimize moving forward. And as always, thanks for joining. Do you guys have any plans this weekend?
Not really, not much. I don't know. This is a unexpected time. This is a rare's finishing before 5 p.m. I have all night now.
I know we're
Yeah.
on
Just left
three.
the
We're like 3 minutes under. We're doing amazing. I am doing my taxes, everyone. I hope everybody's super excited by that. I know I am, but
Woo.
I'm joking. And
Taxes and
yet,
a bottle of wine.
oh yeah, stat in 2.2 seconds. No, I'm joking. Okay, well, everybody have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week on Live at the Hive. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button, and have a great weekend. Peace.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.